What up, Earthbound Army? Hope everyone's having a fantastic night, noon, day, morning, whatever it is in your part of the world today. Now, this is a different video. It is story time with Earthbound. You're probably wondering, why are you telling me stories, David? Why do I care? Well, you should care, because in this video, I want to talk to you about a game that was kind of crowdfunded back in 2016, and eventually, after a number of years, it kind of flopped. It went nowhere. It took all the investors' money, all the monies from the backers, and it just didn't deliver on its promises. And I'm not trying to relate this back to Earth 2. I'm not drawing direct correlations, but it is a tale of caution for those that want to invest in something that's new, that's a startup, potentially has a lot of promise, but ultimately does not deliver on its goal. Now, personally, I think Earth 2 is a long-term hold anyway. I'm hopeful that they can deliver something. I am skeptical of whether they can deliver the VR Ready Player One hype that everyone is expecting. So with that said, not trying to dump on Earth 2, but showing you a story of what could potentially happen to any of us, really. With that said, let's jump into Chronicles of Elyria. So here we are in the Kickstarter page for the Chronicles of Elyria. Ended up with 10,752 backers, and its initial goal was 900,000, but they managed to surpass that and actually reach $1.3 million in backers' money. A MMORPG, or they promised, or they hoped for it to be an MMORPG where you can have guilds, you can have clans, you have your avatar that you create, you can marry, you can be a tradesperson, you have different types of careers, you can be a king, you can climb up the ranks, you can be a soldier, you can be so many things. One of the interesting aspects of this MMORPG was that you can create your character, and over a period of time your character will die. So there's kind of like a permadeath feature in the game. There you go, get married, have children in the game. So a lot of promise, right? A lot of promise. And look at their packs. Their packs go up to starting at $5, going all the way to $10,000. So a $10,000 package, and 4 backers bought that $10,000 package. Keep that in mind, because guys, TLDR to this video is that this game went bust. People lost their money. Okay, so after they were successful on their Kickstarter platform, they moved off the Kickstarter platform and they started crowdfunding on their website directly. I guess similar to what Earth 2 was doing. They didn't have a crowdfunding platform. They just went straight earth2.io, start buying land. From the start to the finish of the development of the game, and really there is no finish, but throughout the life cycle of the game's development, they managed to accumulate $8 million or close to $8 million in backers' money, investors' money. What they did with that was not much. Now, mind you, by this time the hype had gone through the roof, right? People were making content about it, people were talking about it, people were telling their friends to invest and back this project, which looked amazing, had amazing promise. People were already, organizing guilds, towns and cities. And later on, when the development team couldn't get more funding, they released land sales. They said, look, you can start buying land in our world that we haven't really even delivered yet. So they would sell land between $60 to $1,000, and people were actually buying land in the hopes that eventually when the game is delivered, they will have their own plot of land to become the king or queen or the mayor of their own town or whatever it is. And this game kind of promised to be an MMORPG, a RTS, real-time strategy game, and also a world-building sim game at the same time. So it offered a lot of angles, and people kind of bought into this game with all the promises. So here is game footage, pre-alpha game footage that they had used to sell the idea of this game. So people were buying into it. This is what they saw. Now again, I'm not saying Earth 2 was like this at all, but this is what they showed their backers, right? Look at this in-game footage, which, by the way, it ended up not being in-game footage. Okay, this is not in-game footage at all. I'll show you the in-game footage eventually, but this is just what they put up on the internet to try and hook the investors. So as you can see, decent graphics for 2016, nothing special, nothing over the top, but promising, right? It's a Kickstarter program, it's new, it's promising. So it doesn't look too bad. If you were getting progressive videos of in-game updates and you're seeing this and you're thinking, yeah, cool, they're making progress, this looks good, I'm happy with where my money has been invested because I can see progress. And even those little small morsels of breadcrumbs helps people engage in the project and hopefully get new backers as well. So not only that, right, they weren't ashamed to show their faces. You know, the CEO here stands up and he introduces the whole development team. Yeah, let's see who we have here. So he introduces the character artist there, Nathan Hitchcock, the programmer there, community manager there, technical animator. The list goes on and on and on, right? So people were saying, oh, you know, Earth 2 developers, they put their name out there, they put their faces out there, and no way are they going to scam us. Again, I don't mean to compare this to Earth 2. All I'm saying is the arguments out there where people say, oh, they're not going to scam us because they show their face. It has happened, guys. It literally has happened. So I've jumped into the FAQ page, right? And I'm just reading through the FAQs. Let's see what they have. Yes, there's a PvP area. Of course, all MMOs have a PvP area. Earth 2 will have a PvP area. They've already said that. Are there guilds? Absolutely, there's guilds. And there's already guilds in Earth 2, right? That's normal of MMOs as well. Now, another interesting about the Chronicles of Elyria is that it also had kind of like a promotional feature, right? They had something called influence points. So influence points is awarded by the developers for contributing to the development of the game in meaningful ways, such as recruiting players, creating fan media, bug reporting on the official forums, valuable posts, as well as monetary contributions. Earth 2 at the moment says, hey, use my promo code, get 5% off, and blah, blah, blah. And that's how you're bringing new people into the game. Chronicles of Elyria had something similar in the sense that you know, the more you recruit players into the game who invest and pledge into the game, you also score influence points. So once the game is launched, they said that you can use those influence points to do certain things, or I don't know how, but there were certain perks to getting influence points, and therefore they encourage people to bring on other people onto the platform. So as their crowdfunding started to dwindle and they started to use up all their money that they had accumulated, they introduced something that was called the Settlers of Elyria, which was the opportunity for people to buy land within their game that they had yet to deliver, right? And they were selling plots of land between $60 to $1,000. So again, parallels to Earth 2, right? Selling virtual land, and people were buying this virtual land, and again they started to accumulate a little bit of money, but according to them it wasn't that successful. Now eventually in March 2020, around there, they released an update. Remember, this Kickstarter program or project launched in 2016 is now March 2020, and they say, with great sadness, with the failure of Settlers Elyria and 5 long months of limited crowdfunding revenue, Soulbound Studios has officially run out of money. Last night I was forced to do something I never thought I'd have to do. I closed the online store, put the SOE map back into read-only mode, and laid off all employees. Now that is crazy. Let me reiterate again. The life cycle of the game or the project was between 2016 and 2020. March 2020, they said, look, we've got nothing to show you. We've shut up shop. Due to COVID, due to running out of money, we've shut up shop. So the funny thing is, not long after they said, look, we've shut up shop, we're running out of money, blah, 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 a lawsuit started gaining traction. So they caught wind that there would be a class action coming on. So they released another post saying, whoops, I didn't mean what I meant. I stand corrected. In retrospect, I was a bit hasty. We're not shutting completely the game. We're still working on the game, blah, blah, blah. And what did they deliver? Let's see. So this is eventually what they showed the players. This is the avatar screen. Look at the graphics. This 3D modeling of avatars is just atrocious. Just absolutely atrocious. Obviously not what we saw in the pre-alpha footage there. So, and people were genuinely angry, yeah, and you can understand that they were angry. You know, those 4 people that pledged the King package, paying $10,000 each. You know, they really bought into the idea of this game and the potential of this game, and look what they delivered eventually. This is absolutely not what was promised. So I guess what I'm saying, guys, is if we want Earth 2 to be what we all hope it to be, then I think we need to expect that it's going to be a long wait. You know, if you want it to be the metaverse, the Ready Player One VR immersive experience that we all want it to be, then we're going to have to wait some time. And even then, let's cross our fingers that it would even eventuate, because, you know, what we see is what they've given us. Chronicles of Elyria, they gave their backers what they wanted them to see, and eventually they delivered something like this that you see on the screen. Absolutely not what you expected, absolutely not what you invested in. So just be mindful, be wary of where you put your money, and like I said, not saying that Earth 2 will go down this path, but just because, you know, they show their faces and they provide you updates and they give you footage, doesn't mean it's a sure thing. Now, with that said, I hope I haven't put anyone on a massive downer. That's not my intention. I just thought this was an interesting video that I wanted to share with you because I stumbled across, you know, a game that had a lot of hype around it that kind of just flopped. So until the next video, have an awesome day, night, whatever it is in your part of the world.